Saludos and salutations, Broncos country, and welcome back into another exciting episode of Broncos Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a banger for you guys today. The Broncos are on a winning streak. They are on a roll. It doesn't get any better than this. At least that's what we think so. But we are going to talk about everything that happened this past weekend, what happened at the trade deadline, and we're also going to look forward to the next coming game, which is tomorrow against those pesky Raiders. So please make sure your food is warm, your beer is cold, and that you're comfortable as hell, because you do not want to miss a single episode or moment of today's episode. So strap in, because here we go. And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adan Diaz, and joining me to my left or right with special guest tonight is my co-host, the Bronco Libre.
What's happening, Broncos country? Let's go!
Bronco Libre, who are your special guests tonight, my friend?
Well, I got two special guests that are here. I got Viva and Butthead.
Bronco
yeah. No, this is Primo Juan. You see him in the chats. Now he's here live. He's here, coming in from Arkansas, or the other people like to say Arkansas. But he is here for the game tomorrow. And we're super excited. We're going to have another great banger of a tailgate. Mm-hmm. And I got some special news of what might be happening, what people might be able to see during the game as well. So let's go.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm telling you,
it's big news that I didn't even tell you yet.
Just when I think Bronco Libre can't get any more Bronco Libre goes out and does Bronco Libre things, you know? It's amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time here, welcome in. If not, welcome back. We have a lot of stuff we want to get down and talk about with you guys today. But before we do any of that good stuff, as we always have to do or like to do around here, got to get a couple of things out of the way first, just to make sure that everybody is up to speed, especially if this is your first time here with us on the show. First of all, Libre and I would like to ask you guys to please show your support for us here on the Orange and Blue Network. If you can subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all the videos that you see here on the network, your support is very, very much appreciated. If there's anything you guys hear us say that you agree, don't agree with, and you're not able to join us live, no problemo. Just feel free to leave a comment down on that section, and one of us will be down to help you and answer whatever it is you guys want to talk about. Also, for any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. For those of you listening to us on the audio versions, whatever platform you're listening us to, doesn't matter. 5-star reviews are always well appreciated. If you also like, you can send us the review, screenshot it, send it to our socials at the bottom there. We will gladly shout you guys out here on the air. On Twitter, my handle is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. We'd like to also say thanks to our sponsor of today's show, which is Dubby. If you use the code OBN10, you'll get 10% off your order at checkout. Now, you might be asking yourself, What in the world is Dubby? So basically, Dubby is no sugar, calories, maltodextrin, no fillers, or no artificial colors. It's formulated with nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics, including the patented Neurofactor formula, which is the caffeine, which is derived directly from the coffee fruit. As we like to say, it's all the good stuff without all the bad. So again, if you use the code OBN10, you'll get your 10% off your order at checkout. Shout out to Dubby for being a continued sponsor on this and all the shows here on the network, and also from the Nothing Wrong with Orange and Blue podcast team, who hooked you, me, and Libre up with this amazing offer. Also, ladies and gentlemen, We have the show schedule as we're entering into the second half of the season. My goodness, can you believe it? We're already halfway through the football season. So,
thank you so much, man.
here is the times in Mountain in case you guys want to catch any of the remaining other shows here on the network. Every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. we have the Orange and Blue Blitz. On Mondays at 7 we have the Broncos Bros. Tuesdays the flagship show, which is Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue at 7:30. Wednesdays at 2:30 for all of you guys that are just more than Broncos fans, Avalanche and Nuggets. We have the Mile High Symposium every Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. And then on Wednesdays, of course, you have the Broncos Talk at 6. And then Thursdays at 7, we have the Mile High Outcast, which is a brand new show that just kicked off last week. And they're coming to you guys every single Thursday at 7. On Friday, we have in Spanish. Actually, I can't see because the logo's there, but it's at 7 p.m. The Viva Los Broncos, which is the all Spanish podcast, the only Spanish show here on the network. For those of you watching from outside or that just want to listen to us speak this exact same show, but in Spanish. Fresh Squeeze brings you all the breaking news happening in Broncos country. As soon as it drops, we go live on the air. So make sure you hit that live notification button so that way you don't miss a single minute of it. We have the pre-game show, which is the Get Buck pre-game show, which airs just an hour before every single game. And then we have the Bucking Booth, which is the play-by-play to give you guys up to date on everything that's going on in case you're not able to watch the game at home or on TV. And then we have the post-game show every single game day, which is the Buck Your Feelings post-game show, which is where Johnny kind of lets us unwind. And, you know, sometimes we swear, but he doesn't know that we swear, but we do it anyway whenever the Broncos lose. But thankfully, that hasn't happened because the Broncos have not lost. They have won all their games. Libre, one of these days I'm going to have to teach you how to say all that stuff.
Right. You know what? I don't think I need to learn it because you do such a great job. Why would you want me? Why would you want me to take over that when yo soy la cara de la historia aquí? But you can't see me.
Well, I was about to say, if you're la cara, I'm la panza, bro.
I got that covered too, Adam. Don't worry.
Yeah, I see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to a topic that me and the guys were discussing a few moments ago backstage, and it's something that we both stood in different sides about. You know, and this is just before we get to talking about the game against the Texans this past week, and that's the trade deadline. I told Libre and the guys that I thought that the Broncos should have made a move for a player, a wide receiver, a tight end. Now, it didn't have to be, you know, first round pick. It didn't have to be a knock out of the park type of signing. But last year, I understood it. You know, the team wasn't, the Broncos weren't supposed to be who they were. They were supposed to be a team that, you know, was playing, they were in a rebuild. They were going to try to find out where their weaknesses were and you know, fix it and all that stuff. But this year, with the Broncos being 7-2, being first in the AFC West, they have to try their hardest to stay up top because heavy is the head that wears the crown. Remember that. The Chiefs, you can never count them out, as much as I hate to say it. The Chargers, the only move they made, which made sense, they went in and got an offensive lineman from the Saints because Joe Alt is done for the year with that injury. So that's why I thought they should go out and get somebody. Now, to Libre's credit, before I turn it over to him, he does have a point. The Broncos don't necessarily need a wide receiver one per se, or a tight end, or any of those big needs, because they have their young players, which is great. You know, Pat Bryant's starting to come into himself. Troy Franklin is definitely a huge improvement from what he was last year. And Courtland Sutton, still Courtland Sutton. But the only thing that worries me, Libre, is, again, like I said to you earlier, if the Broncos make the playoffs, or if they have a really bad game and they're a first-round exit, we're going to be looking back at this moment like the Broncos could have went and gotten, you know, Rashid Shaheed was tied to maybe coming to Denver, but unfortunately he didn't went to Seattle. It was reported that the Broncos were in talks. They were interested in trying to get Jaden Wallow, but the Dolphins wanted way too much. The price was too high for him. So, Libre, your thoughts?
You know, I agree with you. And I know that the question that you told me, and he goes, we might be on opposite ends of this and talking about if the Broncos did the right decision of making a move or not. And I just said, I'm okay with it. I'm fine without them making any type of moves. And yes, they were in communications with the Dolphins, with Waddle, but they just wanted too much of a high price tag. And I think it was because the Jets set that precedence already, and I feel like they were just following suit itself. What's up, Patty?
That's my wifey. Hi, wifey.
And so with them having that high of a price tag, what the Jets already did to us, that's a lot of Libras. Hey, I'm starting to clone them,
Just not,
Mr. Weaver, they're getting cloned.
Not to cut you off, Libre, just real quick. I told Libre before the start of the show that there's a lot of doppelgangers out there, and I need to see them all in one room because I want to make sure it's not Libre wearing different masks.
And here you go.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's the proof. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Libre.
No, you're good. But because of the precedents that the Jets has already put out there early in the day, it was going to be hard to do anything because now teams were looking at, well, if the Jets can get 2 first-round picks for a player and do all this, might as well put a price tag for that.
Right.
And I'm happy that the Broncos didn't make any moves because I feel like with the young core that we currently have, especially at the wide receiver room, it's going to be there for us. Marvin Mims is still out, but once he's in there, he's the fastest guy. He's going to be able to take care of us. We have Pat Bryant. He's starting, like you said earlier. He's coming into his own right now. He's going to be there for us. Cortland Sutton, he's still going to do Cortland Sutton things, but Cortland Sutton is going to have to be more of a reliable with his hands, especially a couple of weeks ago against the Cowboys when he dropped that pass that was right there. A couple of drop passes this last weekend where he just needs to get in there and be more reliable. And if he can do that, trust me in this, this offense is going to be hard to stop. And then you combine that with our defense, that stout defense, stopping them, not letting them get in there on the goal line, not letting them get in, 3 times. And that is right there alone is going to be the recipe for success for this team. And like I was telling you off backstage earlier, this team is going to get dangerous. Just like last year, we started off slow and they started to revolve around the team. You're starting to see that now. Yes, we did start off slow. We went 1-2 to start the season with those 2 games that we lost. We should have won, but you're starting to see that this offense is starting to roll. This offense is starting to gel, and it's going to be a matter of time, which starts tomorrow and then continues 10 days later when we have KC here. We're going to dominate, and the teams are not going to know what to do with this offense or defense.
Mm-hmm.
You make a good point. You really do. And I really do see it. I do hope we're right. I guess maybe I'm just feeling that way because, it's kind of like when you were a kid and you were in a room full of other kids and some other kids were getting fancier toys. That's what it felt like to me. And kind of like how we were talking about backstage earlier too. We saw Quinnen Williams go to the Cowboys. That's a head scratcher because the Cowboys do not look like contenders. So I don't know why Jerry Jones did what he did. The defense needs to be revamped, fixed big time, but that could have waited until the offseason after, they go to Cancun or they come back from Cancun, whatever happens first.
Well, you have to remember that their defense is the worst defense in the league right now. So they needed to do something to keep faith of the Cowboys nation, to keep something faithful because they just got rid of their best player in Michael Parsons. Micah Parsons. I'm just copying Jerry, but yeah. But I'm just saying, I think he had to restore some faith with some of these Cowboy fans, and that's why they went out there and did that. Yeah, like how you said, they could have waited into the offseason, but because of how terrible their defense is, he had to do something.
I mean, I agree. And while Quinnen Williams is going to be a very good addition to that Broncos Cowboys defensive line, their secondary is I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I do hope that at least Jerry Jones does right by Quinnen Williams to make sure he stays a Cowboy for as long as he can, and he doesn't pull or mess up that situation like he did the whole Micah Parsons thing. But let's go transfer over to the game, Libre. This game was I wasn't expecting it to be what we saw against the Cowboys the week before.
Mhm.
And I was talking to a lot of people who were criticizing Bo Nix for the same thing. You know, they were like, "Oh, I thought Bo was on fire. I thought he was going to go light up the Texans and blah blah blah." And my retort was always like, why would you think that? The Texans have one of the better defenses in the league.
They're a top 5 defense. Exactly.
Yeah.
Won that week, and then we took it from them.
Yeah, like when Bo Nix threw that interception, like, yeah, I was upset, but I got it. You know, I'm like, damn. Yeah, I was hoping. To be honest with you, I thought Bo was going to do more of what he did in that one quarter where he just ran, used his legs, because that's who he is. He's a very mobile quarterback. With that being said, what happened to CJ Stroud was my worst fear of what could have happened to Bo, because like I told you guys earlier, when the quarterback takes the snap and he doesn't throw the ball, he runs with it, we all just kind of hold our breath and we hope he slides and nobody hits him, or that he doesn't, pull a limb or a hamstring or something, just for the simple fact that we're not used to seeing our quarterbacks put themselves out. And sometimes they dive head first, which is even scarier.
See, but I prefer to have that more because you're embracing yourself more and you're actually preparing for a hit. When you're going in and you actually slide, which I hate this rule right now, you're like hoping that defender is going to give up and like pull up and not hit you, but that's not the case. Just look what happened there. He did it late, and when he went in and slid, he was already committed to that to the tackling him, and he went low. But the problem is, like, he hit him in the chest. And it's just that ricochet, him going back and his head slamming on the ground. That's why he took him out. And right away, yeah, the flag was thrown, but that the assist itself, they took away the penalty because he went and led with his shoulder into his body and not to the head and neck area. Mm-hmm. So the rule that I hate the most is when the quarterback runs and they have that option to still slide. Once you pass the line of scrimmage, I feel like once you do that, you're now considered a running back, and if you slide, like you shouldn't be protected as much because running backs are not that protected when they go when they do that as well. So I think that was one of the hardest rules for this league to differentiate between a running back when you're an actual running back or you're still the quarterback itself. And I just hate it. And every time I see it, you see it week in and week out with all the running quarterbacks, with Jaden Daniels, with Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and that's the thing is with all these good running quarterbacks, they are protected. Like that's why the league wants to do that. But they need to be at that point when they pass the line, become a runner and not a quarterback anymore.
Yeah, I was arguing with people who said the same thing, that they I forgot who the player was that laid the supposed hit on CJ.
It was Abrams Drain.
Abrams Drain, thank you. The person, the guy who's taking over for PS2 temporarily, and it was a clean hit. At first, when you see it in normal speed, it looks like a dirty hit, but when you watch it in slow motion, it was clean. It sucks that CJ Stroud wasn't able to avoid not bouncing his head off of the turf the way he did. And again, it sucks that unfortunately he wasn't able to clear concussion protocol and he will not play this weekend against Jacksonville. So I just kind of wish that people kind of, do their homework before they kind of start shooting off at the hip and just realize that it was a clean hit. It was an unfortunate accident. And in this league, stuff like that happens, so injuries are a part of the game, unfortunately, regardless of where they come from. But I will say, Libre, that while I was not expecting an air show from Bo Nix like the week prior, he did exactly what he needed to do. And the fact that a lot of people, most analysts, I should say, were kind of ribbing on Bo Nix because he didn't have that stellar of a game where he wasn't throwing touchdown passes every single drive, kind of, for me, overshadowed the fact that this man in the fourth quarter did what he needed to do to get his team, drive them down the field, and set up the game-winning field goal. And not only that, but seeing Sean Payton go out there and yell at Will Lutz, "Hey, kick it in." Right through there. That to me,
so many words, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't throw an expletive in there because I think I sure as hell would have. Or I would have said something like, "Hey, if you missed this, you're walking home."
No, you're right.
No,
You know?
Will's been clutch all year, man. I wasn't worried. Will's been clutch all year.
Yeah, shout out to Will Lutz, man.
Oh yeah.
And that's the difference between this year and last year. Last year we were losing close games. This year it's not the case. Complete turnaround there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is great to be able and to win in Houston the way we did was amazing because if I'm not mistaken, I think the Broncos were underdogs in that game.
They were.
Yeah,
They
they're
were
like
-2. They
and a
were
half.
two and a half dogs in that game. And again,
Yeah.
you have to remember, like when Vegas puts out lines like that, the home team automatically gets 3 points. So you know, overall, like when you think about it, it's like the Broncos were still favored, but because they got that 3 point, you know, that's allegedly. Like again, that's alleged. I don't really know if that's really the case or not, but you know, they do get a little bit of a home field advantage as well.
Right. And like we talked about earlier, Broncos country showed out in Houston.
Oh yeah.
We filled that stadium. It was nothing but orange. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that he actually brings up a good point. There was a lot of orange out there, man, and it was freaking great to see Broncos country, whether they drove out or they live in Houston. It was just amazing. Now, to me, hearing that Nico Collins and Christian Kirk were going to play in this game, I'm not going to lie to you, that did worry me a bit because we didn't have PS2, you know,
Right.
and I thought that Abrams Drain was going to have his hands full. I thought that what's his name? The other cornerback, I can't think of his name. Riley Moss. Thank you. I thought that I thought that Riley Moss was going to have another, you know, pass interference or. But the Broncos defense, while they gave up yardage to the red zone, they did not allow a single touchdown. They made Fairbairn kick and earn those field goals. Yep. So while the defense bent, but they didn't break, Libre. And I feel like we say that almost every single week. But it is amazing for them to go out there and do what they did against two talented wide receivers, as in Collins and Kirk. So this is a team, Libre, where if CJ Stroud, when he gets healthy and he comes back, and if he plays like he did before the Denver game, this could be a very interesting game in the playoffs. But then again, right now in the AFC, it is a really wild, wild west type of atmosphere out there because there is no clear front runner. You know, we thought the Colts were it, and then they got handled by the Steelers. We thought in the NFC, we thought the Packers were it, and they lost to the Panthers. So it's like any given Sunday has more meaning this year, Libre, than it has ever had before.
No, and you're right. And then when you just think about it, look at what the AFC is actually doing. Like the AFC is like the hardest division right now in the league. Oh, yeah. The NFC is not to the part where they used to be and where they had that dominance back into the like the 80s and 90s until the Broncos actually ended the streak of the NFC winning the Super Bowl. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Velour says, love the Lucha Libre mask. LFG Broncos 8-2. Love the Lucha Libre mask. LFG Broncos. Let's pick up this win tomorrow. 8-2.
Let's go.
And we have a Dreamweaver here saying, boys, why didn't we go get a tight end upgrade? We needed an inline blocker so bad.
But the what we did is, you have to remember, they just signed Mercedes Lewis. But the problem, like with him, he had to go in there, and they only brought him in for one reason, to be that blocking tight end. He's not going to be out there going out there and catching passes itself. So that's part of, I think, why they didn't go for an actual tight end through this right before the draft ended, is because we just picked up Mercedes Lewis, and I think it was a great pickup. Yes, he might be the oldest tight end to ever play, but the thing is, when you saw him out there and play, he did what he needed to do, and that's all you can expect from him. So you're going to be able to see Evan Ingram, and then that's another thing. During this game, there's 3 passes to Evan Ingram, and Bo Nix missed all three of them to him, overthrew him, and so forth. And that's the hardest part right there, is if if he just connected on 2 of those, one of them could have been a touchdown, easy touchdown. And that was that touchdown that Cortland Sutton got. That would have been Evan Ingram's because he just overthrew him. And if once he starts to connect with Evan Ingram, let me tell you, this offense is going to be scary because look at what the opportunities that we just had. You just saw 3 times in that Houston game, and it's going to be there. It's going to be there. Just calm down a little bit. It's going to be there. Trust me. And hopefully it starts tomorrow.
You know what would be healthy for these Broncos too? Getting some picks themselves. You know, I think Geno Smith is the perfect medicine for that.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. I will say though, I think that what they're going to do with Mercedes Lewis, I think that as we get further into the season, Libre, I do think that they're going to change it up a little bit because what you don't want to do is you don't want to be a one-trick pony. Yeah. And by that, I mean is that if they're only going to use Mercedes Lewis as a blocking tight end, whenever other teams, when they study the tape and they see him out there, that's going to make them more predictable. So I think that they're going to try to include Mercedes Lewis in a couple of, outside of screen plays. It could be a play where he just simply goes out for a quick route, quick touchdown type of thing. Try to catch the defense off guard.
Yeah, good play out to the flat, and boom, he's right there wide open.
So I think that Sean Payton is going to use him as kind of like he used Jimmy Graham.
Yes.
So that's the vibe I get from Mercedes Lewis. Again, it doesn't help the fact that he's the oldest tight end in 41. The league. 41.
He's my age. I'm holding for him to get a touchdown for us old guys, man.
Yeah, I'm 1 year younger than him, so I feel you. But I do think that if you got a guy like him, there was no need to get a tight end upgrade this season. Now, next season during the offseason, when Russell Wilson's finally off of our books and the Broncos have a lot more cap money to spend with, I can see them going after, an Njoku or I forget how old Mark Andrews is, but one of the better tight ends, I can see them going after one of them and making them a very good offer to come and be that pair with Evan Ingram. But I do think that the only player I believe that the Broncos are probably going to make a decision on re-signing is J.K. Dobbins. Because I saw his name in a couple of people's like, what's going to happen to him in the offseason? Is he going to stay in Denver? Is he going to work out a contract, or is he going to go and be a free agent and go play somewhere else? Honestly,
he's earned his spot here. He earned another year or two. He's just so far this year, he's already earned that.
Yeah, honestly,
as a Broncos fan, he's earned that.
I think that he's going to want to stay in Denver because he likes what we have here. He could have stayed in Baltimore if he wanted to. He could have stayed in LA with the Chargers if he wanted to. But the vibe that he has here is something that he has never had anywhere else. And I really doubt that he wants to go and try to make a name and earn a place for himself with another team unless he gets cut. If he gets cut, then you got no choice. But if it's up to him, I think that he'll find a way to get a team-friendly deal and to stay with the Broncos. And, we already love what we're seeing out of RJ Harvey. Right. The fact that he's playing a catching running back. Oh, by the way, shout out to Harvey because he won me my parlay. Finally, after 9 weeks, I finally won a Broncos parlay. So.
And JK's given that nice cushion where now RJ, he can learn. We ain't got to just slam him in there and expect him to do it. He's letting RJ learn. So that's been phenomenal.
So I don't know if you actually saw the interview that he had, I think after a game or a practice right after his big game. He had this interview. He goes, man, I love being in here in Denver. He goes, I love it here. He goes, I don't know why it took me so long to actually get here, but I'm here now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and that's one thing that I do love.
I did ask Libre. I love that towel, by the way. I did ask Libre if he could, when he was at the DT Memorial game, if he could get me one of those signs because I thought they were giving them out to everybody. But then it turns out they were just only for the people sitting in the section. Yeah. So. I was really disappointed because I thought Libre had the hookup.
Speaking of the hookup.
Well, talking about hooking up. So at the beginning of every year, the Broncos send out an email to participate in different things and whatnot. And part of it is the flag ceremony. So I received an email yesterday from the Broncos that I was selected to do the flag ceremony, the American flag ceremony, during the national anthem. So we're going to be doing that for the game on Thursday night. So on prime time, Bronco Libre is going to be on prime.
So is his cousin.
So it is, guys, right here. So if you're going to be watching the game on prime, I know that they air like the national anthem and all that. And you know, sometimes they pan on the flag and they're showing some of the fans that are holding the flag. Watch out for us. We're going to try to get in the area where we go to about the 20-yard line onto the field so that we can get that part of it. So
let's go.
That's awesome news, dude. But I'll be honest with you, when you said flag ceremony, I thought you were going to be the guy that puts the flag into the mountain before the start of the game.
But you know who's going to be doing it this week?
No.
Jake the Snake Plummer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I call him John Elway the second.
The second coming.
Because, I mean,
what,
talk about big shoes to fill, bro.
But, you know, like, let me tell you, I think that the Broncos got robbed in 2005 when the Steelers won the Super Bowl that year. That was us. If we would have beat the Steelers in that playoff game, we would have won the Super Bowl with Jake the Snake.
Against Seattle, too, wasn't it? Wasn't that would have been a
the Steelers beat Seattle. That was with what's his name? Alexander? Hasselbeck, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, with old Sean Alexander running the ball, man.
Yeah. So I wholeheartedly believe that it could have been. And it sucks, man, that Plummer was never able to get a ring with Denver. But I think he did. Didn't he go play for a couple other teams before he retired?
I think he retired.
I think he was done after us.
Because he spent most of his career there in Arizona. And then, I think he's only played for 2 teams. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's only 2 teams.
That's probably the team I'm thinking of was Arizona. But I thought he went there after Denver.
No, he was there first.
Yeah.
He came to us after Arizona.
Well, he played for Arizona State.
Well, that's Arizona State. That's college.
Yeah, he did play for the Cardinals. You're right, from 97 to 2002. So the first year the Broncos won their Super Bowl was when Plummer was drafted.
The league,
and he was there till 2002, and then he came
2003,
03 to 06. Oh, he did play 1 year with the Bucks.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a 2008 conditional draft pick. However, rumors started to begin to surface that Plummer was going to choose retirement over competition because the Bucks had 4 other quarterbacks on their roster: Bruce Gradkowski, Tim Raday, Jeff Garcia, and Luke McCown.
That sounds like the 49ers.
Oh, so he did. Yeah, he did retire. So he didn't play. He was traded to Tampa Bay, but he refused to play because he didn't want to compete with those guys. Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That's funny.
Yeah, it says that John Gruden met with Plummer in July of that year to try to convince him to reconsider and report to training camp. However, the attempt was
Charlie.
Well,
I'm in Colorado, so I'm gonna do the medicinal stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember a Bruce Gradkowski or a Tim Raday. Jeff Garcia, I know. He came from Rattay, sorry.
Yep, Tim Rattay.
And Luke McCown, well, everybody knows Luke McCown. I mean, him and Ryan Fitzpatrick were like journeymen quarterbacks, and Luke McCown was definitely one of them.
Well, Fitzpatrick will be here tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll see him at the Thursday on the sidelines doing the live reporting.
If I get a Bo Nix, I'm retiring my jersey that day. If I get his signature, it's getting hung up.
Well, unfortunately, the Broncos were one of the many teams that Fitzpatrick did not play for, which is kind of weird because I feel like Fitzpatrick has played once everywhere.
Right? That's so true.
I mean, we had Joe Flacco. Why not Fitzpatrick?
Yeah. I mean, when you see a Flacco jersey, it's like, meh. And then when I saw what he did here in Chicago, I was like, wow, where was that Flacco?
And that was his best game ever in his career this last weekend. It
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
Yeah, but that just goes to show you how many holes the Bears defense has. I'm not trying to take anything away from Flacco, but
that was the craziest ending to a game that I've ever seen. Me and my son were sitting watching it. We're like, there's no way that this just happened. What? Colston Loveland just caught that pass and went all the way for a touchdown?
I mean,
Like,
you
what?
gotta. I know this isn't Broncos to over talk time, but you just gotta feel for that Bengals defense. I mean, they let Colston Loveland Madden spin past them and just run into the end zone. It's like you can't make that stuff up, man. It's freaking crazy.
I mean, not even that throw, I think, would have put him in field goal range. I mean,
yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's all they needed, but they ended up giving up a touchdown. That was heartbreaking. I've been there. I've done that. You know?
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about tomorrow's matchup since we're on the subject. The Raiders.
Number one
So-
Raider hater right here.
Haters right there.
The Raiders were literally a few seconds away from being another one of the two teams that ends with a tie. And of all the posts that I saw of pissed off Raiders fans looking at them like you guys should have went for the tie, or
Right.
Or them calling out Geno Smith one more time. Like batted footballs are just one of those. It's worse than an incomplete pass, like incomplete where the wide receiver didn't make the catch in terms. But the fact that the Raiders didn't get blown out in that game by that Jacksonville defense was a miracle in itself. And the fact that Jacksonville has already beat 2 of the 4 AFC teams says something. And
But the
I got to tell you, I'm going to redouble down on what I said before. I was going to say Oakland. The Las Vegas Raiders. I know, bad force of habit. The Las Vegas Raiders are probably the worst run team in the National Football League, even worse than the Jets. The only reason I say that is because they went and spent out all that money to bring in Pete Carroll, who's still coaching like it's 2013.
Yeah.
And Geno Smith, who was supposed to be like the next big thing. And when you guys see what Seattle's doing, you can't tell me that Geno and Pete are not sitting there thinking, why couldn't we do that?
Well, I think Pete got rushed out of Seattle. They kind of forced him out of Seattle. They got tired.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I
He
mean,
left
they're
with
bringing
Russ.
everybody there. Gino. I mean, you figured they would be okay since they picked up Ashton Genty, who was big coming out of the draft. He was a big name coming out of there.
But I also said with Genty, like, yes, he's proven that he's been able to be a good running back in the league. But again, he did all his numbers against a Mountain West division where it's not high quality players that are from the ACC, the SEC, and all that. And you're starting to see it now. You're like, yeah, first and this goes to all rookies as well. You're going to see like they start off strong, but then they start declining because now they got film. And the NFL is no joke. This is the top tier where they have these guys that are watching everything that you do. And in the Mountain West, you don't have that. Now that they have that here in the NFL, you're starting to see it. Like now we're in week 10. Like we have so many tape on you that people are going to understand your etiquette, like what you're doing, your techniques, whatever you're doing. They're going to understand your tendencies of what you're going to do, and then it's over. That's how it is, and you're starting to see it.
Right.
Yeah, and
Even
like
in
with
college,
Brock Bowers, he's one that hasn't phased off. We got a plan for him. We don't really have to plan too much for Genty, you know.
Yeah, because we have Tufunga.
And Greenlaw.
Greenlaw's I'm telling you.
Well, Michael Myers standing back there, not worried.
Yeah,
He's the
well,
man.
I still personally think that the Raiders should have dealt Max Crosby because I don't see Pete Carroll as the Raiders head coach next year if they're smart. If they still stay hitched to their horses and think that Pete Carroll just had a bad year and they retain his services or they retain most of that team and try to buff up the defense, they are in for another rude awakening, guys, because he is not the answer. Geno Smith is definitely not the answer.
Right.
And the amount, like the treasure haul you could have gotten for a guy like Max Crosby. I know that they promised him they wouldn't trade him, but when you see that post that he put up after that loss to Jacksonville, you know he might be a Raiders fan, through and through. But you could feel the pain in that tweet. Like that man just wants to win. He wants to be on a winning team. He wants to have a shot at a title or possibly win a title, which I'm all for, just not as an AFC West rival. And like at the end of the day, the Raiders are going to have to kind of come to terms with what we did with Denver. Because I know you guys still remember when the Broncos dealt Von Miller. And
against the yeah.
It hurt everybody like hell. And sometimes we forget that at the end of the day, gentlemen, this is a business. And, you know, as much as we hate to see our one of our favorite players go out and play somewhere else, let alone win a title with another team.
Right.
Hey, sometimes it's one of those things that you have to sacrifice. And it sucks, seeing Von Miller on Sunday Night Football just trying his best. But that Washington defense is just that whole team in itself needs to be studied one day, because where they were last year to what they are now, Jesus, it is.
Yeah. Bronco Beavis was worried about that game. The Commanders at the beginning of the season, and not now. I mean,
well, you know what the thing about this game now, and I'm actually think that game might get flexed out of the Sunday night game, just because Jaden Daniels is not going to be able to play that game, because they've already said that he's going to be out with that dislocated elbow on his left arm. But yeah, it sucks to see that, but I think it's going to happen.
Get flexed.
Yeah, and now that the Raiders don't have Jacoby Myers anymore because he got traded to Jacksonville, that just makes the offense for the Raiders a whole lot less to deal with in terms of them trying to be formidable offensively. I have a feeling that they still have Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers is still one of the best tight ends in the league currently.
Yeah.
And he is definitely going to be annoying and a threat to deal with tomorrow night. But the way that this Broncos defense is playing, I don't even think a guy like Bowers, while he might get his catches and, he might put up some points for fantasy owners, I don't see him as like what we once saw against Travis Kelce. Because Travis Kelce, when he was younger, real pain in the ass, man, and always a pain to deal with. Hard to stop, especially when Mahomes and Andy Reid started clicking and going and all that.
But even before Mahomes was there, Travis Kelce was doing that with Alex Smith.
Yeah.
So you just have to remember, like, even though this is his second quarterback that he's gone through, he was still doing it with Alex Smith. And that just tells you how good of a player he is. You're seeing somewhat with Brock, but the thing is, it's like, Geno Smith is really not that guy. Like, he's gotten lucky.
Official house says, let's go Broncos.
Official house. That's my primo. He's going to be at the game tomorrow as well.
Let's go,
house in the house.
One of these days, I want to get one of my Broncos friends to come in and say hi. Well, once I convert them to
Chicago first,
once I convert them to Broncos fans, because I live in a house with Packers, Lions, Bears, Steelers. Yeah,
listen, I got a room for rent, man.
But I have a feeling where if this game gets pretty lopsided and we see the Broncos do to the Raiders what they did to the Cowboys, and I can definitely see that.
Oh, absolutely.
Or the Bengals.
Or the Bengals. Yeah. It is not going to be fun for these Raiders. I really do feel bad for them on one hand. On the other hand,
why would you feel bad?
I feel bad because it's like beating down on a team. Yeah, I know. I'm a Raider hater too. But I'm also sympathetic at times, even though when I don't want to be. But I can tell you one thing: I will not shed a tear when the beatdown comes.
No, I was going to ask you,
be
do
tears
Broncos,
of joy.
Bro?
Tears of joy,
Broncos, bro.
Yeah, do even Broncos, bro? Yeah, yeah. We don't. We
block D, bro. They don't have a chance.
We try not to say Broncos, bro, on here because then Johnny hits the intro video. He did it last time.
Well,
Can't help himself.
We had a struggling 10 years too ourselves. You know what? But we got ourselves out of it. They've been having a struggling century, 30 decade. I mean,
since the 80s.
They need to figure it out. So I don't feel bad for them. Let's lay belt to ass and let's go get this win.
Oh, that's without a doubt, man. Definitely belt to ass. And unofficial house saying 28-19. Let me tell you something. If they do put 19 points up, they're going to be garbage time points.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm expecting.
Because Geno Smith had a pretty clean game this past week against Jacksonville. where he didn't. I don't think he turned the ball over, if I'm not mistaken. But it wasn't a great game either. Genty, he hasn't had a very great game since that Bears game where he looked like he was. Yeah, he had one good game, and I don't see him going anywhere close to what that game was, because it's gonna be one of those where as soon as Genty gets the ball, our boys are already behind that offensive line, ready to bring them down. So, what I did want to talk to you guys also about, since we're talking about the game, is the injury report. I don't know if you guys saw some of the names.
We were actually talking about it.
Yeah. I was surprised because I didn't see some of those players with injuries. Now, only Marvin Mims is the only one who did not clear injuries, and he will not play tomorrow.
Yes, you won't.
Well, there's 3 people that are not playing.
Nate Atkins.
No, I know.
Atkins is out.
Nate Atkins.
PS2.
PS2, which we already knew about.
Yeah, and Mims. Yeah,
and Mims. So the only thing I say about Mims is we need him back
versus KC.
For KC, yes.
For KC, because we saw special teams this past week in Houston, and what's his name, Bandy?
Yeah.
He gave up that muffed punt, and you if it wasn't for our great defense, that probably would have been a touchdown.
Oh, absolutely.
Going the other way. So, and also special teams continues to be an Achilles heel for this team, Libre. You know, this new coordinator guy just can't seem to get it right. We've seen what some of these other special teams are doing. You know, they're blocking punts, they're running back kicks, and it's like, when we haven't had anything like that since Trent Holiday. That's the only name that comes to mind in terms of
Trent Holiday.
Yeah, Trent Holiday. Thank you. Where it was like that guy, if you didn't stop him, he was like the juggernaut, man. He was just gone.
You know, and that just tells you how much we're relying on Mims on our special teams right now. Mm-hmm. And now that he's out, like, we see the repercussion of it. But again, like how they're saying, just in the defense alone, like, we're the most penalized team in the league right now.
We got to clear that out.
They need to start to figure that out itself. A lot of the times we do have to say, like, throughout all the games, those DPIs, those are ridiculous. And that's really where a lot of them are coming from, is those damn DPIs that are not really truly DPIs.
Mostly on Moss.
And exactly, on Moss, just because he's getting the most targets towards his way, and that's why he's more highlighted than anybody else on the team itself. But if we can take care of that part and not hurt ourselves, our defense doesn't have to work as hard, and they can hopefully just get those 3 and outs or get those short drives, so they're not out there so much, because that has been a factor a lot, where they've just been extending these drives, which we need to cut. We just have to cut that altogether, so that they're not tired there at the end of the game, and they're not having to be the heroics that they have been overall.
Yeah, I will say that special teams, while it has been an issue, there's still plenty of time to clean that up. I don't think we should be at the stage of, like, getting rid of the coordinator, at least not yet. Now, unless we end up in a game where special teams completely, craps out and they're returning kicks for touchdowns, or the punt returner muffs the ball or something crazy like that, then yeah, heads are definitely going to have to roll in that case. And the good thing is, Libre, is that we do not have to deal with, being scared to make those types of necessary changes, because we've seen that the owners are ready to step up. And if you're not pulling your weight, you're out of here, regardless of who you are, what they pay you, what they pay to get you, you're gone. And it can be crazy as that. And, I had 2 people at work recently tell me, when they saw what Sean Payton's doing in Denver, and they said, how come we couldn't go and get Sean Payton to be head coach? And I'm like, because you guys probably didn't have a high first-round draft pick. And I'm like, yeah, the Broncos had to give up the pick that they got from the Dolphins for Bradley Chubb. And they had to give it to the Saints, and they traded it to him to get his contract rights, because if they would have waited until the contract was over, then they would have had to compete with other teams to try to get Sean Payton to come to Denver. So, and that's another name, Libre, that I thought was going to be moved. I thought that the Dolphins were going to try to shop Bradley Chubb, but they were not going to get a first-round pick for.
Oh no,
for
he's
Chubb.
not worth that much anymore.
Yeah, Chubb's been mid since he left.
Yeah.
He's been mid at best.
Yeah. So, but I thought he was going to be one of the players to. If the Eagles picked anybody, I thought they were going to settle for Chubb for like a 4th, maybe a 5th round pick, something of that caliber. But I don't think Bradley Chubb stays with the Dolphins next year. Hell, I don't think a lot of those players outside of like maybe Waddle stay with Miami next year, to be honest with you. I see a lot of them moving and going on to other teams, or they just get shopped around, that type of thing in the off season. But I'm not too worried about tomorrow, Libre, in terms of the Raiders possibly being a threat, just for the simple fact that they're coming off of a really bad loss. And they were just coming off of their bye. So, most teams, when they come off their bye, they should be coming back well rested, more motivated, energetic, and all that. And they just fell flat against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the way they lost at home was embarrassing for them.
No, absolutely. And again, this is a Raiders team that is not good. I know, like, all these Raider fans think that their team is so good right now. And look at where they're at. They can't put anything together. They don't have that continuity. They don't have that brotherhood that you see that the Broncos have. Because I don't know if you saw, but I think one of the sports writers, or even the guy on X, was showing, like, during pregame warmups, just how much that these guys are coming out and hugging each other and that brotherhood that they have. And they're like, man, look at this brotherhood that they have right now. And they can't, like, you could just see that they are in it for them. Like, they're not playing for themselves. Like, when you come to the league itself, a lot of it, you're playing for yourself, but these guys are playing for the person right next to them.
Yep.
And the Raiders right now, they're playing for themselves. And you can see that. And that's what helps these teams not be as good when you can see it as the record. You see the Broncos, they're playing for each other. That they're like, man, I need to play good for this guy right next to me. And it's not about me. Like, yeah, I want Jonathan Cooper to be the sack leader, even though Nick Bonito is going to be it. Like, Jonathan Cooper saying the same thing, It's like, why don't we just meet in the middle and let's get them together? We'll just share that sack.
You know what I'm really excited about these next 2 weeks, Libre? The Chiefs have a bye week this week.
Yep.
So with the Broncos winning tomorrow, next week they face Kansas City. And if the Broncos can do it, and just getting a little bit of myself ahead of myself here,
lead on them.
If the Broncos can do to them what the Bills did, and by that I mean win, that's gonna definitely make it a whole lot harder for the Chiefs to stay relevant. Because the fact that I've seen the Chiefs in a whole lot top 15 lists pisses me off, because their best wins have come against the worst teams, and the team that they needed to be, like Buffalo, they couldn't pull the trigger, and they went into their bye week with a loss. And even the announcers for that game were saying, like, this upcoming game against Denver is going to be huge for Kansas City, because I don't think they meet again until the end of the season. Libra, I could be wrong.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, Christmas.
Thursday. So it's the second to last game of the year.
Yeah, and if last year is any kind of indication, thank you, indication of what this year can be, I don't think the Chiefs are going to get lucky by blocking a field goal one more time.
No,
I really don't think so. The way that the Buffalo Bills carved up that Chiefs defense, oh my God! I saw Bo Nix throwing to
they did that?
Dobbins like that.
They put pressure on Mahomes.
Yeah,
They got him out of his comfort zone itself and contained him, so he wasn't able to rush a lot as well. So I feel that if we can do that, which I feel that we can this year,
we did last year.
Exactly. So, but this year, for us to be able to do that, that is going to be a good indication. But I've also heard too that how we play against KC here next week is going to be an indication of what this team is.
I agree.
So we need to go out there and show up and show out. And trust me, I'm going to be in the stands. I hope that the country is going to be able to hear me. Even I'm in the 500 level right there. I'm going to be out there. We're going to be going crazy, and I can't wait. And the funny thing about this, when you know that Broncos football is actually officially back, like, I know you don't live here in Denver, but the way I know that Broncos football is officially back and people are excited for this team again, people waiting in line to get into the tailgate parking lot on Tuesday. People were lining up on Tuesday, yesterday. There are people already lined up like for their cars to get into the parking lot, which opens at 12 o'clock tomorrow, to get into the lot. So that's why I know that Broncos football is officially back, is because that's happening.
Right. And we're going to be there. So stop by, say hi.
Tomorrow, let's go. C10.
So how come you guys aren't in line?
Because we're here doing the podcast.
We're at the podcast at the moment.
because you wouldn't let me cancel. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, that's a conversation you got to take up with the boss, because we have to give a boss a notice why we're not going live. You know,
I think he would understand.
I think he would too. I mean, you'd have to send him a bottle of his favorite drink to kind of get on his good side.
No. It's Modelo time.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Good night. No, but see, and Official House asking me, when am I planning on visiting Mile High? Well, listen, I'm not going to get too much into it. I've had this conversation with Libre personally. Due to what's, I'm not going to get into it, but due to what's going on outside with the world, let's just say, I wasn't able to. I was actually planning on going out there for the Cowboys, and then I tried to push it towards the Giants game. I wasn't able to make it to either one of those games. To be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to be able to go to Mile High this year, just for the simple fact that it's not. Yeah, it's kind of crazy out there. I kind of have to be here for my parents because I kind of have to do everything for them now until things kind of settle down. So once all that happens, then maybe I can take a weekend off and kind of do what I did, and I bring my nephew with me. And even though he's a Chiefs fan, he wears the Broncos colors and he represents and he shows out. And then when we get back home, it's like, all right, now you can go back to being you. So without giving too much into detail, Official House, if things change, I'm hoping maybe I can maybe go to the last home game for the Broncos. Nothing promised, because that's close to the holidays, and flying in the holidays, especially everything that's going on at airports right now, is bananas. So unfortunately, it doesn't look me going. I went to the Colts game because I live close to Indiana, so it was like a three-hour drive. So that's probably my only game for going to go see the Broncos. And unfortunately, I went when they lost, but I blame that loss on Johnny Baki, because Johnny was at that game too, and he jinxed us, and he can't tell me any different. So, and I don't think he watches.
For week 1 or the first home game next year, I'm gonna try to do it myself.
I told Libre I try to do that every year, man. And I'm now that we've got under new management where I work, our schedules are a little bit more flexible in terms of now we're not so constricted. So once I get all my ducks in a row, I'm gonna save up. Because unfortunately, since we are under different management, we don't have that same chain of discounts for hotels. So now I have to pay full price when I go to Colorado. So it sucks, but hey, it is what it is. But I will say, though, I did sign up recently because Libre told me about the I forgot the name of the company, but they're doing a giveaway where they're giving out 2 free tickets to the Broncos game in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
So I signed up for that. So if I win, then I'll get flown out to Las Vegas for the Broncos game. And it'll be my second time there watching the Broncos, because I was there 2 years ago. So
very nice.
And maybe I'll have more money to gamble and hopefully win back. But ladies and
that's why it's called Casino.
Casino, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of regulation, which means it is time for us to get into some overtime.
Let's go.
We didn't practice that.
I'm on mute.
I swear to you, we did not practice that, but that came out. Oh,
that was dope.
That was dope.
That was almost insane. I hope Johnny watches that part and tells everybody on the network, like, hey, everybody has to do like Bronco Libre and the guys. Like,
Well, what we
whatever
need
your
to do
segment
after the
breaks.
show is we just need to do a screen record of that little part and just send it to the group.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Johnny might beat us to it because he watches every show back to back. But then again, he hasn't yelled at me for any of the jokes we make about him. So I don't know. Maybe he's gotten used to it, or I have no idea. But ladies and gentlemen, this is your first time here. This is where us and the guys kind of let down our hair figuratively, and we talk about anything going on in our lives that's not exactly the hair thing. That is not exactly football. If it's a way we can relate it to football, we do. It's mostly during the off season where we kind of just talk about live stuff. But during the regular season, Libre and the guys like to give out our picks. We kind of try to pick out what our the other games are, and kind of give our input for that other one. So currently, I have 80 points. Libre has 84 points, and Chat leads with 85 points.
You know it.
Yeah. The chat picked every single pick that I had, so I couldn't make.
So he can't cheat this time.
Yeah. So we're basically we're not even going to talk about tomorrow's game because we're already going to say
yeah, that's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap, and we already talked about it. So we're going to go straight into the Sunday games. Gentlemen, we have the Falcons at 3-5 going not to Indianapolis. They're actually playing in
Berlin. Yep.
So this is an international game, but the Colts are considered the home team, and they're at 7-2. Now, we were talking about this before the show. They did pick up Sauce Gardner. I do feel that the Colts kind of went in a little bit too hard on all in. Yeah, with the picks. I'm not saying that Sauce Gardner is not worth it, but to Libre's credit, he did say first round picks cost first round players or something of that caliber, and he has a point. But I think that the gamble for Sauce Gardner was way too high.
It was way too high.
So, but hey, credit to the Jets for I don't know if you want to call it a fleece, but if the Colts don't go to the playoffs or they don't win out, then it'll definitely look more like the Jets had the upper hand in that. But the Jets have to do what they have to do, and they sacrificed two of their best players on that defense, and now the Jets defense is more than horror. But we were also talking before the show that the Steelers definitely brought something out. They finally woke up and they embarrassed one of the better AFC teams in the league. They made Daniel Jones look human again. Same thing with Jonathan Taylor. First game in a while that we have not heard Jonathan Taylor run amok. Colts fans on Twitter, Libre, I will say, are still a little bit delusional. That we're just like, oh, it was just a bad day and whatnot, which it could be. But at the same time, you have to be realistic, because if one team could do it to you, imagine when the other AFC teams, the tougher teams, especially like I told everybody when we left that Colts game, Libre, see you guys in the playoffs, and every story is not the same. So
playoffs. We're talking about
playoffs. And the Falcons last week, they took it to the Patriots. I thought that they were going to get steamrolled, but I wasn't sure where Penix stood in terms of his injury. I thought that if it was Kirk Cousins, then that would have definitely been a steamroll. But Penix and the boys kind of held their own against New England. They almost had the upset. They just ran out of time. But I think this is a bounce back game for the Colts, and I don't see them getting embarrassed 2 times in a week. So I'm going to say
Colts. And the Falcons have been so up and down. They're such a roller coaster team. I mean, 1 week they're here, then they're rock
because they beat Buffalo.
I mean, you can't never count on the Falcons. So Colts get a bounce back win.
God damn it! The cat picking the Colts one. Let's go, Colts. Let's go.
Well, I mean, Sauce Gardner went to bed. What was it? 1-7 and
woke up 7-2.
7-2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but you know what? Like, just talking about the Jets real quick. They did it. They got what they really wanted. They have 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years, which is going to be crazy. But again, first-round picks never guarantee you that you're going to be good. So but they have that potential of getting some of those high-quality players and whatnot. But they have to produce and perform. But it also goes down to your coaching. Are you going to have the coaching staff that's going to be able to help excel these players as well?
Right, and it's the Jets, and we've seen what the Jets do. The Jets just jet.
Exactly. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints at 1-8 going on the road to face the Carolina Panthers at 5-4. I got to tell you guys, this Carolina team, I can't figure them out, man. Like the games that they're supposed to win, they get creamed, and then the games that they're supposed to lose, they look like world beaters. I mean, beating the Packers, nobody had that in their bingo card.
No.
I run a football pool, and not one person out of like almost 30 people picked Carolina to win that game. So,
and I mean, and that's what Green Bay was at home, and in those, I just don't get it how they did that. Love was unaware that he was playing football that day, I guess.
Yeah, and the Saints, I mean, talk about. I kind of feel for that quarterback going up against the Rams as your very first game in the NFL. But the Rams showed you exactly who they were, man. And like one analyst said, that's what you do to bad teams. You beat the hell out of them. So
tomorrow,
while the Panthers are not exactly the Rams per se, I do think that they're a better team than the Saints. However, this is a divisional game, so this has all the makings to be a possible trap game. But I don't think that the Saints are going to be good anymore, especially because they don't have Raheem Shaheed anymore.
Yeah.
So there goes their
exactly
deep threat.
That offense is no longer there. It seems like they've just thrown in the towel as well.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so Carolina's my pick.
Mercy.
Well, so I go, who that think gonna beat them? Panthers.
Yeah, I gotta take the Panthers there. I just can't trust I mean, I still don't feel good picking the Panthers. Because this is a game that they should win, and you never know that here comes another goose egg.
Again, you're right.
It's tough.
It's like how he's saying, it's a divisional game. Divisional games doesn't matter what the record is between teams. It's just that they play each other so often that they understand each other. But the Saints are not a good football team. They're not a good football team, and they just gave away one of their best players.
Is Justin Simmons still playing for him?
No, he never signed with anybody. He's on.
Yeah, I don't think Simmons in the league, and I think during the offseason he was talking about retiring, but I don't know if he's yet.
I don't want to put him through that. We love him.
No, I think whenever he does officially retire, I think he's going to sign a one-day contract with the Broncos.
Oh yeah, he'll come back and sign with the Broncos because he still lives here in town. He still does part of his charity stuff here in Denver.
Hey, Justin, you watching? Come to the tailgate tomorrow, man.
Yeah,
we love you.
Simmons, let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, Cody,
I will say,
if you're on here as well, come visit us.
I will say, and Libre, I don't know if you remember, but we had this conversation when the Falcons came last year, and I got so heated when they showed the hype just before the hype huddle, and the very last. I don't mind with anything that Justin Simmons said in that huddle, except for the last sentence. F them, like. Yeah, that just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sorry.
I totally get what you're saying with that, and we talked about this as well during that itself. But you have to remember, he's a professional football player that is now on another team that's playing against him. He goes, yes, I might have been there, but you know what? F them, because I'm here to play, and I'm here with you on this team, and let's go out there and actually play. But that's what I love about him as well, because what has he done afterwards? Like after he's left there in Atlanta, it's all about Bronco stuff because he does his foundation here in Colorado. Everything's here. He was just there, the heat of the moment, getting his other teammates saying, hey, this guy just came from Denver, and this is the way he's talking. He's just trying to get them jacked up, and that's really what it came down to.
Even though he did get blown up, and Javonte took him all the way into the end zone.
Yeah, that was great.
That's one of the good runs Javonte had all year.
Yeah. New York Giants at 2-7 hit the road, and they're coming to Chicago to face the 5-3 Bears. Let me just say that Jackson Dart without Cam Scatterbo is kind of like Batman without Robin.
You said it perfectly there.
He did not. I thought that even without that, I thought that the Jackson Dart magic show was going to keep going, especially against the 49ers. That's why I picked them last week, because the 49ers are one of the most beat up teams in the league. But he just could not find the timing. The rhythm was off. He kind of looked like he Cinderella at midnight. Like everything turned back into the pumpkin.
Yeah.
And again, next year, Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson will be gone more than likely. he's gonna have that team. He's gonna get Malik Neighbors back. He's gonna get Cam Scatterbo back. If the management is smart, they'll build an offense around him, and they'll probably get rid of Brian Dable, because even I don't think that win against Philadelphia is enough to save him from getting fired. And if they can find the right head coach, look out, NFC.
You know what? Hey, just a thought. Maybe that's where Pete Carroll ends up landing.
Yeah. At 71, then we run the Giants like the 2013. Yeah, Jackson Dart hit the bench. Russell, get in there.
Imagine that also Geno Smith going over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, a quarterback competition between Geno Smith and Russell
That's
Wilson.
Pete Carroll's guy. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Geno's
I'm surprised they didn't
gotta
trade
follow
for Russell and bring him to the Raiders. But the way the Bears are definitely riding that high momentum after that big win against Cincinnati. If Caleb Williams can do to the Giants defense what he did to Cincinnati's, I mean, the NFC North is wide open, man. The Lions look like they were just going to run away with it, but the beating they got from the Vikings opened the floodgates up. The Packers losing, so it's anybody's game really. And again, the Giants are beat up. Brian Burns is more beat up than he looks. I'm surprised he's still playing and he doesn't take a week off to kind of heal up. But the Giants, their spirit, their heart, if you ask them, they feel like they're 7-2, not 2-7. But I don't think it's enough to beat the Bears, so I'm going to say the Bears win that game.
Right. Can I make a comment on this one, Libra?
Yeah, go ahead.
So with the Bears, I find them interesting. Now, Caleb Williams, it just took him a year. But I see the Caleb Williams in this Bears team like the Broncos last year. They start off slow. They're finding their stride now. It just took Caleb Williams next year, and obviously Bo's a way better quarterback. But I see this Bears team, if not this year, next year, winning that NFC North. Bears win this week.
I don't know, man. I still like the Vikings, man, in that division.
Just because that you met your wife in Minnesota.
No, I met her here. I met her here in Denver.
Well, because her family is from Minnesota.
We moved to
But
Minnesota.
you know what? It's going to be the Bears. Let's go.
I picked the Bears to win.
What? Come on.
I'm taking the Bears.
Patty, if you're still on, listen to this guy. Come get your man.
She's not. She's like, I got up.
Oh, the Bears. All right. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 5-3, going on the road to face the CJ Stroud-less Houston Texans at 3-5. Now, this is a game that I was mulling since we started the show, because I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to go in and embarrass the Raiders last week. I was not expecting it to go to a halftime. By the way, shout out to Cam Little for setting the NFL record. 68. Jesus.
68 yarder.
He kicked 70 in preseason.
Oh,
Yeah.
And just to show you, it is not easy like most people think it is, because on Monday night, Brandon Aubrey tried to do it too, and that ball went way the other way.
We're talking about two different kicking styles as well. Aubrey is not consistent how Little is.
Hey, I got an idea for a video. Let's get Libre out there. No blockers. Let's see if we can get 68.
Hey, I can hit 6, 7.
Man.
We're in our 40s. What are we doing?
I think that the Texans are going to play, even with Davis Mills. He's not a world beater per se, but if he can kind of not do what he did this past week and actually hit his wide receivers in the end zone, Nico Collins and Christian Kirk are talented enough to put points on the board. You just need to throw them the ball. And in the red zone, Davis Mills was way too scared to put the ball where it needed to be.
That's because of the pressure that we put on him. That's the reason
exactly.
Why.
But Jacksonville does not have the D-line that we have. So
exactly.
Woody and Nick Chubb are not exactly world beaters themselves, although Woody has been playing pretty good up until he ran into Denver. But I think that the Texans probably do enough to win at home and go 4-5. Now, just for the simple fact that Jacksonville, they should have made an example out of Las Vegas last week, and they did. And the fact that they took them all the way to overtime and a blocked pass to win that game, just kind of shows you that Jacksonville still has a lot of work to do.
No, they do. And then you have to remember that with Travis Hunter being out as well, that is something huge. And the crazy thing about it is that he hurt his knee in practice. So, by them going out and getting another wide receiver at the trade, like just tells you that they might put him on a season-ending, ending his season right now.
Yeah.
And they need to, because if they're going to want to have a future for him there to be playing both sides of the ball, they have to end it right now. Let him heal from it, and not like wait a couple weeks and then put him out there.
Mhm.
They need to really protect him, and I feel like that's what they did.
Although I will say that Jacoby Myers could definitely be an interesting turnaround for that team because they don't have any tape with him in Jacksonville. But then again, it could take Jacoby a couple of maybe a game or two to kind of get the offense and learn how Liam Cohen operates his team. But then again, hey, don't be surprised. I know a lot of fantasy owners are more than happy to start Jacoby.
You know what?
Myers
I actually
now
have
in that
Jacoby
offense.
Myers in one of my fantasy leagues right now.
Mhm.
Primo, thank you. But I actually do have him in one of my leagues, and he was actually sitting on my bench last week too. And it sucked that he was on my bench. But again, I was just thinking of the matchups and so forth. But I'm highly considering starting him this week itself. But I still can't pick him this week. I think Houston, like how you said, Mills is going to do enough just to get there, and their defense is that Houston defense is no joke. And I can tell that, and we saw that from a first-hand experience. And that defense is going to stop these guys itself. And I feel like Houston's going to win this game.
And you guys say Texans as well, right?
I was gonna go Texans. I felt like Texans have a better defense. They are coming off this loss, which they had.
Go with Jacksonville.
They had a very good.
He just texted me.
They had a good chance on going to winning that game if it wasn't for Bo's fourth quarter again. I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Texans too, but I think it's going to be close. I think 1, 2, maybe 3-point game.
Primo,
I think Jacksonville's going to stay in it. They're going to fight until the end, and might be a trap game. Jacksonville might pull this out, but Texans.
Next, we have Buffalo at 6-2 going on the road to face Miami at 2-7. Let me just quickly say, because I know I talk a lot during these things, but the fact that Jaden Phillips was the only player that got moved out of Miami is surprising to me. I thought that they were going to do a complete overhaul.
Fire sale.
I know, fire sale. The Broncos were speculated that they were interested in Jalen Waddle, but they didn't bite because the Dolphins wanted apparently somebody's firstborn or something of that caliber.
Not the firstborn, the secondborn, the thirdborn.
Yeah, that's the thirdborn. So it was too expensive for their taste. Miami didn't want to bite, which is kind of weird because Miami they gave a first-round pick for Bradley Chubb. So I found it weird, especially in the situation that Miami has found themselves in. 2-7, they're in a very deep hole. They're not contending for a division. They're definitely not contending for a playoff spot. So
I'm not contending in this game. I'm taking the Bills.
The Bills, and the way the Bills treated the Chiefs last week, don't be surprised if this is one of those games that when you're watching a team get beat down and then they just flex it to another game. That's what this was.
Thank you, bro.
No, I say the Bills have got Josh Allen on the bench by the third quarter. That's how bad they're going to beat it down.
Yeah, kind of like
I have Cook, and he's going to cook and eat all day long.
Yeah, because no more Jaden Phillips to stop him. Baltimore Ravens at 3-5 hit the road against the Minnesota Vikings at 4-4. Now, both of these teams are riding on pretty big wins. We saw what the Ravens did to the Dolphins last Thursday night. We saw what the Vikings didn't exactly beat down.
Separated here.
Yeah, the Vikings didn't exactly beat down the Lions, but they held Gibbs from being that terror at that that buzzsaw that the Lions have been recently.
Oh yeah.
So, and that was a very important game for the Lions to have won because that's a divisional game. And now that they lost to Minnesota, they definitely have to get back on the winning side.
And they've lost to Green Bay already as well.
Yeah, so they're not they're 0-2 in their division so far, with games still up against the Bears.
The Bears.
So, but this could be. I mean, the Vikings defense. The only bad game that they really had was against, or two games I should say, was against the Chargers and the Eagles. Those are the only two bad games where the Vikings defense looked like.
Or they got exposed. Yeah,
they got exposed, and then they kind of came back last week when we thought that the Detroit was going to run all over them.
And
It
JJ
didn't happen.
McCarthy's back.
Yeah. So, and then the Ravens, Lamar Jackson looked like a brand new person out there. So,
Right. Well, the J.J. McCarthy things, that's what's got me worried.
yeah, I will say that I do think that Lamar Jackson takes advantage of this situation.
Yep.
And I'm going to say that the Ravens win that.
Ravens as well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
See, now, hey, we're going to differ here, buddy.
I'm going.
Yes,
Look,
you are, because now we are now tied up. Because I'm going to win this game.
I'm going with the Vikings just because that's where my son was born. I got to go with them.
Now, I don't count towards chat, but I'm going to put my opinion in here. J.J. McCarthy is going to do what he did when he started before he got hurt. He's going to flash, which he did last week. And he's going to fall this week. Ravens win this game.
Oh, see, this is why I'm in the lead, guys.
And then we have what's being considered the toilet bowl game. The Cleveland Browns at 2-6 go on the road against the New York Jets at 1-7.
Can I pick a tie?
Jets coming off of their bye week, big winners, but they're going into this game without Quinnen Williams, who went to Dallas, and of course, Sauce Gardner, we talked about, who went to the Colts. The Browns are definitely due for a win. A part of me feels bad for Myles Garrett because he hit the sack record, and he was
the money.
Yeah, I know. I said a part of me feels that way, but then the other part was kind of laughing at him. I'm like, hey, when you signed that contract, you sold your soul for money. So after that loss, you can go home and jump into that big money pit, or go into that big fancy bed with some of the most beautiful women in the world that money can buy, I guess. But
God bless him.
It's just that's the life you chose. So you have nobody else to be mad at but yourself. But I do think that the Browns defense is good enough to win this game and kind of bring Justin Fields down back to earth.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm gonna say Browns win that game.
I'm going with the Brownies too.
Yeah, Browns, and I say Shador Sanders makes an appearance.
Ooh.
God, I hope so. Next, we have the New England Patriots at 7-2, going up against the Buccaneers, who are coming off of their bye week at 6-2. Now, this could probably have the makings of America's game of the week, to be honest with you.
I agree.
Two very hot, two good teams. Tampa Bay went into their bye week kind of licking their wounds. They have dealing with a lot of injuries. They're hoping to get Bucky Irving back. Mike Evans is still not anywhere close to coming back yet. But the Patriots, Drake May, got to give him credit for what they're doing out there. Mike Vrabel has done a really good job turning that team around in just a season. So
this might be another tough one.
Yeah, this is a tough one. But I think the Buccaneers defense, aside from Vita Vea, I don't think it's good enough yet to stop the New England passing attack. If New England doesn't have Butte back, then they're definitely going to struggle a bit, because he was definitely helps take off the top. But Stephon Diggs, you can't ignore, and I don't think the Tampa Bay has the secondary good enough to stop a guy like Diggs. And they have also the Johnsons as wide receiver 2 and 3. So I'm going to say that the Patriots win this game.
Ooh. You keep on falling back and back. But you know what? Honestly, this is going to be one of the best games, I think, this weekend. And what I love about it is that the Broncos are going to have this weekend off because they play tomorrow, to be able to actually watch some of these games, even though me and my son will be watching the Red Zone channel the whole time.
Right.
But I feel that Baker Mayfield, coming off of a bye week, some good rest, that he's going to just torch that defense.
Ooh.
Times 2.
Yeah. Bucky Irving coming back. Bucky Irving's going to be hungry. Bucky Irving runs for at least 80 yards and a touchdown.
Hot take right there.
Next game, we have Arizona Cardinals at 3-5 going on the road to face the 6-2 Seattle Seahawks at home. The fact that they picked Raheed Shaheed, I mean, now Sam Darnold has a deep threat because.
Oh my gosh!
Well, they already announced Jacoby Brissett starting quarterback for the Cardinals. So
yeah, because Kyler Murray went on IR.
Yeah, he went on IR. So yeah.
Hey, and credit to the Cardinals, because nobody in my confidence pool had them winning except for like one person.
Well, we didn't even have them winning.
Yeah, we thought that the Dallas Cowboys were going to snap out of it after having their ass handed to them by the Broncos the week before, and
got another belt.
It kind of looks like only the special teams showed up for that game, because the defense wasn't. It was still bad. The offense, I mean, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb were not anywhere near of what they looked like in that Washington game the week before that. And it just goes to show you that the Cowboys are good enough to beat the bad teams, but the good teams, or even the mediocre teams, which is where you can put the Cardinals at right now, they can't even do that. And I'm sorry, but them adding Quentin Williams and Logan Wilson from the Bengals, that doesn't automatically make them contenders. No. Because if the Cowboys offense could not put points against a defense like Arizona, like you expect them to go into the playoffs, even if they make it as a wild card spot, doesn't matter who they face, they're going to get bounced in the first round.
Right. So, wasn't that the best defense going or best offense going in?
Yeah, with the most points and best trio or duo or whatever you want to have it. Yeah, they were all right. Yeah, belt to ass, and we just handed the belt to the Cardinals, and they gave them belt to ass too.
So Seattle's going to continue. We're just passing it along.
Yeah, but now the belt's getting handed to Seattle because I got to eat crow from what I said about Sam Darnold. I thought he was going to struggle. I thought it was going to be bad, but it's been everything but the opposite.
Hey, I got another hot take on that. This week, Sam Darnold, personal best, he throws 5 touchdowns this week against that crappy Cowboys defense.
I can see it too. Libre?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Them sea chickens, they just look a little bit hungry. They look
pretty
hungry.
Good. Yeah.
Libre, you said Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Seattle sea chickens. Yeah.
Remember, like Primo said, sea chickens.
Next, we have the LA Rams at 6-2 going on the road against the San Francisco 49ers at 6-3.
Another tough one.
It's kind of tough because when you look at the 49ers roster, they do not look like a 6-3 team. Yeah. But the way the Rams have been playing, I mean, what they did to Jacksonville before their bye, what they just did to the Saints, I mean.
It all depends if Christian McCaffrey shows up and decides football that day.
That's true. But I can't count Staffy out, so I'm going to say the Rams win that game.
I go with the Rammies, too.
I got the Rams.
Stop picking my picks.
I'm going to go the other way. 49ers win by 3.
That's because
my wife is a 40. No, she's not a 49ers fan. She's a Christian McCaffrey fan because he has a nice ass.
Next, we have the Detroit Lions at 5-3 going on the road against the Washington Commanders at 3-6. Now, I know we're taking up too much time, Libre, so I really do apologize, but I'm trying to go as fast as I can.
Stop talking.
What the Washington Commanders did, putting Jaden Daniels in a 35-7 game in the fourth quarter, was unacceptable. And I really do hope that who's ever above Dan Quinn chewed his ass out the next day, because you just don't do that. Part of having a backup quarterback is your backup quarterback goes in if your team gets blown out or if they're getting or the other way around.
Or if you're doing the blowing out.
Yeah. They're the ones that are supposed to go in there, finish the game, not just come in whenever the starter gets hurt. I'm not saying that should have happened to the backup quarterback per se, I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but it hurts even more when that happens to your star player. Again, what happened to the Commanders needs to be studied because it is historic in the fact that we all thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl damn near this year. And the amount of injuries they had, the bad luck, it just I'm surprised that the Commanders honestly weren't sellers before the deadline, because now you have Scary Terry, who I don't know if they're going to even rush to bring back out there, because Marcus Mariota is nowhere near what Jaden Daniels is. And yes, he's had some flashes in the pan, but it's been nowhere near where he can go. What happened to the Commanders against Seattle? I'm surprised that, there wasn't a white flag that should have been waved. But yeah, I have a feeling that the Lions are going to bounce back in this game, and they're probably going to do to the Commanders what the Seahawks did to them. So I'm going to say Lions win that game.
Same.
Lions.
We all picked the Leones.
Yeah, no Lions.
And then Sunday Night Football. Again, I don't know how the Steelers got 2 primetime games in like less than 2 weeks, but
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Steelers at 5-3 going on the road to face the LA Chargers at 6-3.
Come on, Steelers.
I hate to do this as a Broncos fan, but Chargers that game.
So let's talk about this. When you say that, Don made this decision a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, he did.
And he goes, I cannot believe that. And I said the Chargers were going to win this game. And guess what? The Chargers won that game. But I'm not picking the Chargers this week because Joe Alt is out. And that is a big, big loss for them on that offensive line.
Yeah, that guy
So-
that they got from the Saints, I'm pretty sure is decent, but he's no Joe Hall.
He's no Joel at all, and that's part of the reason why I'm not going to go.
I'm going
with-
Steelers.
I'm going
If
with
the
Steelers as well.
Steelers defense from last week shows up,
Exactly.
the team that took the best team in the AFC supposedly and made them look like who we thought the Broncos were going to make them look in week 2, then yeah, and what's his name? Herbert has struggled against lesser defensive teams.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, you have to remember this is the same team that got trouble with Brian Burns and Thibodeau earlier in the season, and they lost that game to the Giants. So, I gotta say Steelers on this one. I think Aaron
Same.
Rodgers goes and puts spell to ass on the Chargers. What did Chad say?
I'm
Chargers?
taking Steelers. I'm taking
Steelers?
Steelers.
Okay.
You beat us, Steelers.
Well,
right?
he took
No,
Chargers.
Oh yeah, you did take the Chargers. Yeah, you're soft.
I take the Chargers because I don't see the Steelers. They're not the steel curtain no more, and I don't see the same.
Oh, they're
difference.
definitely not the steel curtain, but I still think they're a better
Yeah.
team than the Chargers.
Yeah, I Tomlin's not
And-
the coach.
And a
Herbert-
Chargers loss helps the Broncos a lot because that just furthers our lead in the division.
I
So,
agree. I'd love to see it, but
You know,
I
Raider
don't
loss.
trust Justin Herbert to do that, and Justin Herbert's going to get the win just to piss me off.
And then the Monday night game, gentlemen, the Philadelphia Eagles coming off of their bye at 6-2 go on the road to Green Bay to face the 5-2-1 draw Green Bay Packers. Now, I will say it's really still embarrassing that the Packers lost to Carolina. They had no business losing that game. Again, this Jordan Love is one of those players in that list of players I just can't freaking figure out like how you have Romeo Dobbs. It sucks that they lost Kraft. I think they lost him for the year, if I'm not
Tucker,
mistaken.
yep.
Yeah, so Tucker Kraft is gone for the year
ACL.
with an ACL. That's terrible news because Tucker Kraft was carving teams up, and not having him going into the playoffs possibly is really detrimental to that offense. But they should be getting back. What's that young kid's name who went out like week 3? He was on my fantasy team. I can't think of his name. Jaden Reed. So they're getting Jaden Reed back, who's a speedster wide receiver. He's not a tight end, but he can put on some speed. So that's some good news for them. The Eagles went out and got Jaden Phillips, as we said earlier. They went out and got the cornerback from the Ravens to help out with that secondary. So the Eagles did what they had to do before the deadline to bolster their defensive aspects and kind of, fix what's really hurting them. The only concern for the Eagles right now is Saquon Barkley. I think he's still questionable going into this game. And we could see more of Tank Bigsby. We could see more of him if Saquon is on a limited snap count. And then again, everything that's going on with the whole AJ Brown thing, it's a surprise that he wasn't dealt during the trade. But with any other Philly losses that come from now until the postseason, that whole drama and that whole thing is just going to get even worse before it gets better. But I think that the Eagles are still the better team in this matchup. I don't know what the hell's going on in Green Bay, but they need to figure it out. So I'm going to pick the Eagles to win that game.
I am going with Go Pack Go.
Ooh.
Yeah, go Pack, go. They're pissed off because they know they shouldn't have lost that game.
See you, Don. This is why you got to join us, and you shall win. Let's go, Pack.
Well, I'm trying to go the other way so I can take the lead and not play
That's
catch
not
up
going to
anymore.
happen.
Well, Jerry's boy is going to have 2 sacks this game. So,
ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our overtime segment today. Libre and the boys would like to thank everybody that was in the chat with us. Unofficial, official house. I hope you have fun tomorrow. I'm super jealous I won't be there. Bronco, Rob, thank you so much for stopping by. Patricia Marquez, thank you again for showing your support for us here. Tim Dog, what's up, man? Thank you so much.
Tim Dog. Hey, Tim, I'll see you there at the tailgate tomorrow, bro.
Dreamweaver, Malhai Medlock, Velour, JC Weaver, I think I said that, and Michael Yost, just to name a few. And for those of you watching us through social media as well, TikTok, Twitter, our Twitter viewers, thank you guys so much. And of course, those watching us through the Orange and Blue Network. So before we get out of here, just want to remind you guys or ask you again, if you can please show your support for us here, subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all the shows that we have here live on the network. If there's something you heard us discuss that you agree or don't agree with and you want more in depth, please feel free to hit that comment section and we will get back to you ASAP. If you can't wait for that long and you'd like a more direct approach, you can always find us on Twitter. My handle is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. Audio listeners, please feel free to give us that 5-star rating, and as always well appreciated. You can send us those reviews and we will shout them out here live on the air to our socials there. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. We'd also like to thank Dubby for being a sponsor of today's show. If you use the code OBN10, you'll get 10% off your order at checkout. Again, that code is OBN10 for your 10% off your order at checkout. Shout out to Dubby for being a continued sponsor of this and all the shows here on the network. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back this Friday for Viva Los Broncos with the first of, before any of the other shows, we will get to talk about what happened in that Raiders game, as well as talk about what we talked about during the Houston game as well. So if you're not jelly already, other show creators on the Orange and Blue Network, get ready to be with me and Libre. So get your translators out because you're not going to want to miss a single minute
Claro que sí.
that episode.
Puro pinche Broncos. Let's go.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been our pleasure to be here with you guys. Before we head on out of here, Libre, make sure you guys, again, as he stated, Libre is going to be holding the American flag.
I will
the
be
national
too.
anthem.
And so will we.
All three of those guys are going to be there. So make sure you tune in early before you sit down with the cold beer and the hot food. And if you see him on TV, snap a picture and send it to them. They're at Bronco Libre 5280. So that way he knows that you guys saw him.
Let's go.
And I mean, the only thing left to do is to put Bronco Libre on a billboard or on the big movie screen, because you've already been on TV. You've already been a hash brown. You've already been on the program. I mean,
on the program.
Yeah, sky's the limit for you, Libre.
Right?
He almost made the Madden cover, man. He should have been on the Madden cover, not Saquon, that bum.
Yeah, well, the last thing I need is for Bronco Libre to go down with a hamstring injury. Because I don't think we have a medical plan here at Orange and Blue Network yet.
Heck, I seen him come down the stairs. He was limping already, man. He was maybe.
Yeah, and for us old guys, they don't make these parts anymore, you know?
No, for real.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been our pleasure to entertain you. Please make sure you tune in and watch the Broncos kick some Raider ass tomorrow, and tune in on Friday to hear us talk all about that result.
Yep.
He's Bronco Libre and the Bronco Luchadores. My name is Adan Diaz, and this has been
up in the house.
the Orange and Blue Network. We will see you guys on Friday. Have a good night, good evening, and as always, go Broncos!
Let's go.
See, we didn't practice that either, and that came out better. See, Johnny, this is exactly why you need to pay us more.